Hey,
No
just
problem.
it was yesterday where you talked about how pleased you were with your defense, just being able to play defense without fouling. Tonight, you guys put them on the line a lot. Just the difference tonight and the past two games.
Well, the past two games, we rebounded the ball better, and we didn't put teams on the line. Today, both those areas were exposed again. And, you got to give Washington State a lot of credit. They put the two big guys in, and they just kind of pounded us on the glass. Nate getting in foul trouble early hurt us. But those two areas, we just couldn't let happen, and they happened tonight.
And then just on the other side of the ball, just the obviously these past few games you found a lot of offensive options. Tonight it was just a lot of quad A, and it seemed like the other guys just couldn't get going.
Well, you know what? We got back. There was a lot of slippage in terms of, I thought, we had 14 assists, which is probably one of the most assist numbers that we've had in a long time, but just wasn't crisp for the most part. We had some spots, but we had a lot of guys taking a lot of, contested, tough shots, and rather than sharing it. And, we've got to be better than that. I felt like their zone, I thought, was a big problem to that. And it was the first time we've seen a lot of zone this year. And I felt like we got a little bit of stagnant. We didn't get into the paint, but when we did do it, we scored. But there was moments in the game where we just the ball stopped, didn't move. Player movement wasn't there. A little disappointing for sure.
All right, Hop. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lauren, go ahead, Lauren.
Hey, Hop.
Hello.
What was it that, you mentioned you needed to rebound the ball better and not put them on the line, but what was it that Washington State was doing, or what about them that made it hard for you guys defensively?
They played tougher than us.
Yep. What do you guys need to do to make that not the case?
Be tougher. You gotta come. You gotta bring the heart. You gotta bring the heart, and you can't play cool. You gotta play like every possession is your last, with passion, with pride, and then most importantly, you gotta play together. And I felt in those two areas we were just not as good as we need to be.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Andy Yamashita, go ahead, Andy.
Hey, Hop, thanks for the time.
Yeah, Andy.
Washington State was always going to be a problem on the boards, but, how do you want to play bigger teams like this?
Well, we, decent job, Colorado, Utah, they're all big teams. I think the biggest thing is when we were smaller, we can outscore you and they have to adjust to us. And we got behind and we needed the scoring lineup in. We just couldn't get stops. They shot 51% from the field, made 5 threes in the second half. That's just not good enough. And, there were some breakdowns, but, we played against the bigger teams and we've rebounded. You got to put a body on somebody. You got to be tough in there. They got every loose ball. They got free throw rebounds with only one guy on the free throw line. Not acceptable.
Definitely. And you guys seemed to contain Bonton for the first half, and then he went off for 18 in the second. What did you like about how you played him in the first, and what changed in the second, I guess?
In the first half, we did a decent job, and we did a decent job with him. We just couldn't, we couldn't get stops in the paint. They did a good job of exposing the lineups, and they were more effective. And on offense, our turnovers, in the first half, our turnovers and quick shots led to them getting 10 points in transition. Not acceptable. But, you live and learn. We've got to be able to move past this, move forward, and get ready for Oregon State.
Thanks for the time, Hop.
You're welcome, Andy.
Chris Fetters.
Hey, Hop, just to piggyback off Andy's question about the bigs, when Nate gets 2 fouls under the first 4 minutes, how does that ultimately affect your guys' game plan, your scout, and everything else kind of moving forward?
Well, it's next guy up. I thought Riley did a pretty decent job. They just give you a different type of player in different moments. But, it's just getting in early foul trouble. We put them on the line. I mean, we were fouling on outlet passes. We just weren't sharp tonight. we've got to play smarter, you know, and, you know, it hurts. It hurts when Nate Roberts goes out for sure, his physicality.
And also to follow up on Lauren's questions, you know, when you have a kind of a team that has some veteran pieces and some guys that have been around this program a little bit, and they don't show up to start with the energy and the fight and everything else, especially against the in-state rival, how frustrating ultimately is that for you, knowing that that should be the minimum that comes with an
Well, I think
in-state
the biggest
rivalry?
thing, it's just got to be the consistency is what you're looking for. You know, Hamir banged up his thumb really bad. I probably shouldn't have played him tonight. You know, he couldn't, you know, we were trying to talk him through it because we wanted the size on the court, but he couldn't catch the ball. And probably that was a bad decision on my part. But, you know, you just listen, at the end of the day, you got to play hard and you got to play smart and you got to play together. And tonight, we didn't play as hard as our opponent and we didn't play as together as we need to play. That's just the bottom line. And, you know, it's frustrating. It's just frustrating when you go out, regardless if it's a rival or whoever you play, you have to go and play with your heart on your sleeve, and then you got to play for your teammates. And I did not see a lot of that tonight.
Thanks, Hop.
You're welcome.
James Price.
Hey, Coach, thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, James.
You touched on the offense just a minute ago, but did you feel like the unforced errors, like turnovers, played much of a role in keeping you guys from finding an offensive rhythm?
It was, yeah, I mean, we made basic guard-to-guard passes that got stolen and got layups. I mean, you just can't make those plays. And that's where I felt like from the beginning of the game, we just, you know, getting down 10-0 was self-inflicted. You know, it wasn't, you know, there wasn't a pop. There wasn't, we were just lacking in that fight and that energy at the beginning. And put Nate Pryor in, put Raekwon to see if we could get a little bit of that energy juice that we needed. And, you know, we just couldn't get back.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Mazvita, go ahead, Maz.
Yeah, hey Hop, you talked a little bit about the consistency and how much is this teaching players how to be consistent day in, day out, and in practice, in the games?
It's everything. You know, consistency over time equals credibility. And you know, as a coach, you just want to know what you're gonna get. You know, and your teammates need to know what you're gonna give and get. And that's the dependability and consistency. And you know, and you have games like this. Unfortunately, you know, it happened tonight. But you know, you got to learn from it. You got to move forward, and you know, you got to try to get better. And that's what we'll do.